If you've spent any time exploring the style world, you've encountered seasonal color analysis. Whether you're a spring, summer, autumn, or winter, based on your hair, skin, and eyes. But what happens when experts look at the same person and come to completely different conclusions? Today, I'm sharing my own experiences with conflicting color analysis, why this happens more often than you might think, and most importantly, how to move beyond this confusion to discover a personal color palette that truly feels like you. I'm Rebecca Mielke. As your visual identity guide, I take you on a journey of self-discovery so you can align your inner and outer self, show up confidently, and contribute your gifts to the world. As your first step to self-discovery, I invite you to download my free guide to seasonal energy and personality colors. This resource will help you understand how to use color in your wardrobe. Find the link in the show description or at my website, signaturestylesystems.com. So when I first understood that you could know what to wear based on more technical considerations, not just on walking into the store and figuring out what just like what your friend was wearing or what you wanted to buy. I started by reading a lot of books and I watched a lot of YouTubes and I joined all the Facebook groups and all that. But then I trained with Carla Mathis and I went into a long season of just developing my own philosophy and understanding of the intersection between personality, colors, and style. So recently, I've just started exploring again just to see what new ideas are out there and how they might help me to continue to grow in my understanding now that I have a really solid foundation of what it is that I do. And I've had some insights into the experiences that I went through before I became a color designer. And I want to share those with you. So I've had my colors analyzed multiple times, and the results haven't always aligned. Um, yeah, back in the 80s, back in the late 80s, I visited the cosmetics counter and they had color draping within Color Me Beautiful at that time. And my hair was highlighted. It was starting to come in silver and so it was frosted, but with a really nice warm golden tone. And the analyst declared me an autumn and her very words were because of the muted, which I had no idea what she was looking at, but now I do. I think at that time she was looking at my brown eyes rather than my skin tone, because at that time I think that most people were trained that brown eyes were always muted. Um, and I disappear in muted colors. She did, thankfully, highlight the brightest colors in the autumn packet as my best options. And then she was clearly a talented makeup artist because she did not give me brown lipstick, which was all the thing. I didn't wear lipstick for years because it seemed like that was all there was brown lipstick, or everything turned brown when I put it on. Anyway, I felt like I disappeared in most of the recommended colors except like tomato red or hunter orange, which are pretty much spring colors. And I'm fairly certain she never even tried the spring drapes on me. So years later, a well-known color and style expert who works internationally and virtually told me, based on pictures she saw of me on the internet, that I was light, warm, and smoky, meaning muted. So she seemed to be primarily looking at my hair because she wasn't um, able to see how colors interacted with my skin. In fact, She also had good advice for me in that I was wearing a lot of neutrals then, and she advised me to wear more color. So, but it was only when I worked with master color designer Carla Mathis that someone finally noticed what was up. So Carla had me send her pictures of me wearing favorite things. And one of those was a butter yellow. And it was light, warm, and muted, as I had been told. And then I also sent her a picture of me in a white t-shirt with a gold foil pattern. So when she saw the butter yellow, she said, "Did somebody tell you to wear that color?" And then when she saw the white, it was like, see how much better this looks? Um, so yeah. So most people think your best colors are determined solely by your physical features, but a truly authentic personal color palette has to honor both your natural coloring and your unique energy. And you can't always see that just by looking at the pigments present in eyes or hair. And yet I hear experts on YouTube teaching these very shortcuts. So if someone relies on shortcuts and visible serpent, like what you see, rather than really looking at how it looks on you, then the analysis has a chance of being wrong. This is part of why different analysts can come to different conclusions about the same person. I think I've told you before that I have a friend who has been trained in the color design that I use and also in color draping. And in her training for color draping, the experts themselves that were doing the training didn't always agree on the person's season. So another reason is that different systems are designed to group people differently into which palette that they give them. So they're emphasizing different aspects of color. Some of those are temperature, like warm versus cool. I think it'd be pretty easy to get off base if that was what you were looking at and the person was fairly neutral. Some of them major on resonance, which is like tinted, muted, toasted, shaded, or saturated. And then some of them are looking at light versus dark. If your hair is light, you're always this. If your hair is dark, you're always that. And then sometimes they conflate value and contrast, but that probably should be a separate episode. So if you happen to stumble into a system that you fit neatly into, you're going to get a great palette that works for you. But that didn't happen for me until I got into a customized palette because in the systems with pre-built palettes, your energy, your presence, and how you feel in colors is rarely considered. And that's the missing piece is your energy. So when creating a personal color palette that feels truly authentic, we need to look beyond just the matching features and consider how do the colors resonate with your energy and your personality. So here's some examples. Tinted colors, if they're mixed with white, they convey lightheartedness and optimism, and that could be traditionally associated with spring. Muted colors that are softened with gray and are traditionally associated with summer are evocative of calm and sophistication. Toasted colors, the ones that are mixed with brown, convey warmth and groundedness, and they're traditionally associated with autumn. Shaded colors, those that are darkened with black, evoke like power and intensity, and they're traditionally associated with winter. But here's the truth. Your personality can align naturally with a different energy than what your physical coloring suggests at first glance. And then when that happens, Following a pre-built palette could end up feeling restrictive and inauthentic, like you're wearing someone else's clothes. And that's where the art of color design comes in. So, unlike color analysis, where you're being categorized into a system, color designers work more like artists, where you're harmonizing your unique inherent colors with your personality colors to create something truly unique. So when I create a palette, a personal color palette for a client, I identify their inherent colors and their personality colors, then harmonize them into a one-of-a-kind palette that reflects both what they love and what looks good on them. So this approach explains why two talented professionals might evaluate the same person differently. One might be seeing the physical features while another intuitively picks up on the energy. Pre-built color palettes can work beautifully when your coloring and personality happen to align with the system. But when they don't, you could be left feeling disconnected from your recommended colors and unable to articulate why they don't feel right. Most people think your best colors are determined by your physical features, but a truly authentic personal color palette must honor both your natural coloring and your personality and unique energy. So here's something simple you can do this week to integrate these principles into your wardrobe. Pull out 3 items in colors that you've been told are your colors, but things you rarely wear. Try them on and just notice how you feel, not just how you look. Do they drain you or energize you? Do they feel like you or do they feel like you're wearing a costume? And then trust your gut. It's telling you something important about your personal color energy. And then if you're ready to discover a color palette that honors both your natural coloring and your unique energy, I invite you to check out my signature color palette guide. This isn't a pre-made palette based solely on your features. It's a completely custom digital color palette designed specifically for you. And you can find the details at signaturestylesystems.com. Thanks for being here for the Signature Style Systems podcast. Have fun being you, and I'll meet you back here again real soon.